Hello and welcome back to another video, and in this video we've got so much secret information from 4J Studios, okay, and there is so much to cover, so I've just got to quickly go over everything. But pretty much they hosted a mini game night where they answered all our questions and also played mini games with us. I've picked the best questions from that. I'd also like to mention there's a console edition petition at the minute to try fix the parity issue in console edition, and it is doing really well. It could get done if you vote on it, okay, and spread it to your friends and that. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it. There's a lot to cover in this video and it is quite long, so if you have trouble with your attention span, turn the video up to 2x speed or something like that, and yeah, let's get straight into it. So the first one is, how did the idea of Minecraft minigames come along?
So Battle was kind of more of a Hunger Games style thing. It was originally on sort of the PC versions. There was these sort of mini games that people were making, and that kind of just formed what we wanted to create on here. I think Glide was a bit more easier to decide since the Elytra was added to the game. It was kind of a natural fit to make a mini game with it.
Alright, next up we've got someone asking what the planning stages were like whilst making the mini games.
It all kind of started with drawing on a bit of paper, really. We'd get a kind of an idea. I think the ones that were mashup based and they had a theme to them, they were a lot easier because you kind of know the elements that you're going with.
Alright, that was that one. For this next one we have got what does it feel like to still have the Glide minigame and minigames still resonating with people nowadays?
It's kind of amazing to still see that people are playing them and they're still trying to break speedrunning records, and also show all the places where how they're able to break the maps and get like really fast times that we were just not expecting. So it's kind of a treat because you sometimes forget about the work you made. But yeah, you'll get reminded every now and then. Like, oh yeah, people still, it still resonates with people.
About 7 years ago, when Minecraft Glide minigame was released, people went into like the game files and like made it so you could play it in single player, and then flew around the map. And they found these prototype weird tunnels outside. Someone did actually get this question answered.
Sorry.
A stone cube with tunnels outside the map.
So there's some of that stuff is like, plans and almost like blueprinting what we're going to try and do, and in other times it's just we've copy pasted one area over to the other. We've either left a bit behind or we just didn't clean up the outside because no one's going to see it.
So in this question we have got whether there are any Easter eggs in any of the maps.
It's mainly the ones for the bats that you can find. There was sort of hidden little...
That's right. Did you not build like 1x1 tunnels that only the bats could
Only
get
the
around?
bat could fit through. And if you used a stair on its side, the bat can still fit through.
That's
It's like
right,
quarter of a block.
I think some of the maps got really complicated with the sort of bat tunnels that we had.
Yeah. We definitely put a lot of effort into the bat tunnels.
Honestly, I'm quite shocked about that one. I actually never knew there was special bat tunnels, and I never realised they were intentional. But in this next question, we've got how long did it take to make the maps, and were there any scrapped maps?
There was definitely a lot of scrapped maps, yes. To make a map, I can't really remember too much for Battle, but I think it was quite similar to the time as the Glide maps, and it was a couple of months we would spend from designing it to then building it and then polishing it all as well.
It sounded like there were a lot of scrap maps, which I'm quite surprised with. I never thought there would be, but we do know Glide Track Pack 4 was planned, but it never came out, so unfortunately they never gave us information on that. Anyway, in this next one, we have got what their favourite minigame maps are.
Favourite battle map is Atomics. Favourite Glide map is...
Has to be Cavern.
I think it's called Celts.
It has to be Cavern.
Yeah, I think Cavern's probably
The first one
one
is always the
I played
best.
on. Yeah, Glide.
First one's always the best.
Yeah, those picks are pretty alright, except for Atomics. I don't know who likes Atomics, but I mean, it is better than Libertalia. But they did answer another question, but I won't show their perspective because they just answered it really quickly. It was, how did it feel taking months making these maps only for people to find ways to break out of them in the first few hours? They just said that they don't care, and actually it's pretty fun watching them on how quick they can get out. So in this next one we have got, was Cavern meant to be possible in under a minute?
It definitely wasn't meant to be under a minute. I think when we first started setting times it was about 1 minute 30, and then that kind of quickly got whittled down as the map was released.
In this next one, someone asks, how do you guys feel about the Legacy 4J mod, which if you don't know, is a mod that like emulates the console edition feel, so you got the gamma, you got the UI, you got everything, but on Java edition, and they do actually give approval to this mod.
I think it's pretty cool. I've not actually seen it or played it. I have heard of it. Yeah, I mean, Java's a great platform to mod.
This question is pretty good, but the answer's not that great. Someone asks whether there was any planned minigames that never got to be released because of how soon console edition got discontinued after the minigames started.
I don't actually think there was, to my knowledge. I might be wrong, but
I'd like to think there was others in the, you know, in the imagination. I cannot remember. That's the truth. Is were we playing other ones?
Yeah, that answer wasn't that great, but in this one, we have got which is their favourite soundtrack based off the map.
Glide again. Glide had some amazing soundtracks. I think specifically I've got a soft spot for Celts.
This one confirms something that we've wanted to know for over a year, okay? So, over a year ago, I went on an older title update. I went on the first ever Battle Minigame title update, and in the map selector, for some reason, they had beta maps, and he actually talks about one of these beta maps that we found on accident.
weirdly, I remember this map here being one of the most challenging. It's went through so many different iterations, and also trying to get the map to function well from a performance standpoint, just because all the glass lasers coming in, which was the beacons, fire everywhere. But yeah, it started out as not getting invaded by aliens. It was just a normal sort of rooftop world. I think that's actually what we used to call it, was rooftop. And then we changed it to being an invasion of aliens. So.
And this one, someone asks whether they put secrets in the map that only they know about.
I'm going to say the answer is yes, but the answer is also I've probably forgotten what I built.
So I suppose it is very likely that there are still secrets that we haven't discovered yet. So in this next one, we have a really good one again actually. This is whether they actually enjoyed developing the console editions.
Definitely enjoyed the console edition.
This next one actually is a really unexpected answer.
What's your favourite Minecraft update?
Ooh.
Good question.
I think Caves and Cliffs is like an easy answer because it's a fairly recent one, and it did a lot to the game.
Aquatic one was great.
Yeah,
That's when you got like fish, you got the turtles. Turtles are so cute, like the little baby turtles.
I am surprised one of them said Caves and Cliffs. That's like a modern update, and they didn't actually have any work in porting that over. This next one is them talking about Ruin as the beta map, and it's got a different name, which is crazy. We didn't actually know that, but we did know about a different beta being there beforehand.
What we called Mall. I can't remember what it was called in here, but it's released as being like abandoned, overgrown mall sort of thing, or science lab I think it is. I can't remember whatever it's released as, but it was meant to be a mall when we originally did it. So there was a toy store within that mall, and I had a plane on the roof of it that you could kind of go on, and there was like a chest in like the pilot seat. It was really cool.
This next one tells us something pretty interesting for the Glide community.
Speaking of, Torty has asked, which of y'all added 1x1 holes in Glide? No pressure.
it was you, because you were the only, there was only I think 3 people on the dev team who could fly the extreme shortcuts. It was you, Rory, and Joe.
Yeah.
There may be others, but I remember you guys.
In this one we find out which maps were made by hand.
So earlier it was mentioned that some Minecraft maps had to be made from scratch the same way that everyone else would have to make them. What were those specific maps, if you remember that far back? This is all the way back now.
Cove and Cavern. That's probably as far back as I can remember, and that I only remember those names because we played them earlier.
Totally fair.
But then as soon as we got into Glide, we had all of these controls already, so all our tools.
So with that in mind, how long did it take to make a map like that, like the original way, versus having the tools that you eventually had further down the line? Like, what was the time difference? How much time did that save?
It's hard to say because back then it was a lot of sort of trial and error as well, and we were developing everything, so we didn't really know exactly how we wanted stuff to be. So there's a lot of time spent doing that in the early days.
I also think when tools came into it, the map started getting more detailed, so you probably spend about the same amount of time on it. It's just you'll be able to do more within the same time frame.
Wow, that was actually a really long question. In this next one, I'm actually quite interested in this one, because if you didn't know, I created the Glide custom map Lighthouse, which is a map that was designed to replicate the 4J Studios feel, okay, and it took me ages, and I always kind of did lack creativity sometimes, and pretty much they get asked whether there were any days where they'd lack motivation or creative energy. If so, what would they do to get through it?
I think coffee and just the team, like the others in the team, are what helps get you through some of those like days. You know, everyone has a day where you just don't want to work, or you don't have the motivation or the creative energy to kind of go through it. But yeah, hopefully having some good folks around you is usually the savior.
I definitely found when you're getting burnt out on building a certain task, if it was taking a while, then leaving it, going and working on something else, that really helped. Just kind of get your motivation back, and then fresh pair of eyes on there basically, and fix it, finish it, whatever you need to do.
Well, yeah, actually, it makes me think, listen to that question again, that it must actually be harder for them, because they are forced to do it, because it is their job. But for me, I just got on, started building when I wanted, and that was draining enough for me, so it would be hard at work. But I mean, you are with people at all times, which would be a bit better. The person I built it with could never come online at the same time as me, so I was barely building with him. But it was still quite a fun experience, but you definitely did get burnt out from time to time. In this next question, we've got a really cool answer again. Pretty much someone asks whether they've seen the Glide World Records, and they reply with this.
Yes, and it makes us very upset.
It scares me. Yeah. I've tried to do some of the techniques. I've seen some a video breaking down, why the world records kind of do all these 360 spins and tight turns within thermals, and I've tried it myself, but I never really managed to get predictable results. So I'm gonna play it safe today. I'm quite surprised that they did see that video, because it literally only has 600 views. Anyways, in this next one, Scott talks about how he got into 4J Studios.
So it was originally when they were kind of gearing up to start making the battle maps and making more mashups. There was 8 interns that were hired for a summer internship, and me being fresh out of school, I was perfect for that apparently. And they've never managed to get rid of me since, so I'm still here.
In this next one, they actually tell us how they made the map body, how they researched for it, which is actually, funnily enough, the map that is playing in the background right now.
So for research on this map, what did you do? Do I want to know?
One of those little cameras that you can buy.
Oh no!
I remember looking at pictures of different microbes and germs. So
this is what it's like in a human body, right? Is this 100% accurate?
It's completely accurate.
Right.
It's to scale as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all accurate.
That is actually really insane. I actually never knew it was a 1-to-1 accurate scale. That is amazing. In this next question, they get asked what their favourite version of Console Edition is, which is which their favourite console is to play Console Edition on.
I think Xbox One for me.
I think my favourite edition. I've been playing PS4 lately.
Those are both very good picks. Of course, I'm biased to Xbox One, though. I think Xbox One's the best one. In this next one, they actually load up Ruin, and they say this is the mall. So yeah, I was right about Ruin being the mall.
This is the mall.
There's a lot going on in this frame.
Wow.
This is the shopping mall that it used to be, and now it's a laboratory, I think.
In this next one, they talk about the tools they used for map making, and it is pretty interesting, but it is a little bit long, so yeah, maybe put on 2 times speed if you've got a really bad attention span.
So going back to the development of these, when you had the tools to make Minecraft maps like this on console, what were the tools like? Were you able to like terraform or like make circles immediately or make lines immediately? Like how did those tools work, if you remember that far back?
You want to take that one?
Yeah, there was kind of two iterations of the tools I remember. There was a set of tools that we could use just with a controller, so we didn't need to, we didn't need to have a computer connected. So those kind of worked where you enable the dev mode, and then wherever you were standing would act as like positions for a region that you could then copy paste or do other things with. And then we eventually gained the ability to connect to a PC and then use tools through mouse and keyboard, and that allowed us to do much more complicated things like setting up regions and using various tools that we had available to us. I can't quite remember which ones we all had, but copy paste was the main one.
Yeah, that was a very long question. In this next one, we find out whether they used grey boxes to build maps first, or did they just try and make them pretty straight away?
All very much grey box, but if you can use a close enough material as you're going along, we did. Yeah, it would definitely get like a beauty pass after.
Yeah, it's all about getting the rough shapes in first.
Oh, it's my bad for holding up the stream there. I just wanted to take a quick screenshot with Rory, but I forgot you guys would all be spectating me and I made myself look like a right dick. I'm sure they're not bothered, but this next question is whether they encountered any funny bugs whilst developing the mini-games.
Mini-game specific bugs? Yeah,
I mean, there would have been loads of issues when we were developing it, yeah.
I do remember quite early on with the first glide map, we discovered that when a player could fly into water and then stay in the water and then slowly swim up the waterfall, and it meant that people found a way to fly backwards up the glide track by flying into water and then gaining height and then flying to the next bit, or sometimes even the waterfall would actually lead them right up to the top surface. We did have to fix that one.
And finally, for our final one here, we've got, has mentioned that you've worked on Minecraft ever made anyone freak out in real life?
Yes,
Yeah?
quite a few times.
Any specific examples you want to talk about?
Actually, most recently, when we had a works event, there were some people in the building that we work in that were quite ecstatic to hear that we worked on Minecraft, and knowing Stampy as well was a big winner. So yeah.
Yeah, I've had people even now like just don't believe that I've worked with him or I've met him or anything like that. It's very strange.
Okay, now that is it. Thank you so much for watching this, and if you actually have made it this long into the video, please subscribe, okay, and comment down below, because this video took me so long to make. But yeah, I really hope you enjoyed, and yeah, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.